So I really didn't want to talk to my brother.
Were you angry at her?
I was angry, but that was sort of washed over by the whole shock of the whole thing.
So did you finish putting your hairpiece on before you talked to your brother?
Yes.
And when you came out, did you have a conversation with him?
Yes.
And did you talk about your mom or the hairpiece? Or what was the conversation?
He wanted to talk to me, and I could tell something was wrong. 'Cause he was sitting on the sofa, real timid, and
What did he look like physically? You started to lean forward, did he?
yeah, he was just sitting on the sofa like this. And his
Hunched over a little?
Yeah, his head was down, and I came in, he kind of looked up at me, and he looked down, and he said, "I want to talk to you." And I figured it was about my hairpiece or something, but it seemed like something was wrong, and something was wrong.
What did he say? State of mind, Your Honor.
All right, the objection is sustained. The answer will be received only to reflect the state of mind of the witness, Mr. Lyle Menendez.
What did your brother say to you?
He told me that, his exact words, but he was very sad about the fact that he said we weren't a family because there were so many secrets, and that basically saying that, you know, he had never known about my hairpiece, which I knew, and that he was sorry that happened, and that he wished he had known, and I didn't have to be embarrassed. And
How did it make you feel when he was trying to comfort you this way?
not good, embarrassed.
Why embarrassed? You love your brother, don't you?
Rephrase the question.
Why were you embarrassed? You and your brother, what kind of relationship do you and your brother have? What kind of relationship did you and your brother have this Tuesday in August, the 15th, I believe the date is?
Extremely close, and I was more the person he mostly came to me, and when he had problems and you know, like the gang thing or whatever it was that were problems, he would come to me. And but there were a lot of things we didn't share and didn't talk about because there wasn't, at least on my end, because there wasn't anything you could do. I mean, there was nothing he could do with the decisions my dad make if I didn't like them, and there was nothing he could do about what was going on in the house between Mom and Dad. So a lot of times we just hung out and we were close. But like he was saying, there were a lot of things that we didn't talk about. You know, some things I would never have talked to him about, like what happened to me. But and that's essentially what he told me. He asked, you know, he went on about how we weren't a family and that I was the only person he had. And he asked me to remember back to the time when I confronted my dad about him. And, you know, I remembered. I said yes. And, you know, I asked him what was wrong, because he was really didn't want to. It was like, you know, he was basically shaking, and I asked him what was the matter, and at some point, he couldn't tell me, and he just started crying. And I said, you know, you could tell me, what is it? And he told me that those things with his dad were still going on, and I was just completely not believing. And
What'd you say to him?
I said, what things? He said, you know what things. And I said, how come you didn't tell me before? I said a lot of nasty things to him, basically.
What did you say to him?
I asked him if he liked it. I asked him why he didn't tell me a long time ago. I asked him why he didn't fight back, because he said that Dad was forcing him. And he was just crying. I had no answers for any of it. Just crying.
Were you mean to him?
Unintentionally.
But you were mean?
Yes. And that made me, I don't know, I was feeling extremely guilty.
Why were you feeling guilty?
I was feeling guilty because, I had, the 13-year-old conversation I had just sort of let go. And I never really followed up on it. I didn't really want to follow up on it. I was so happy it went that well with my dad, and I just kind of let it go. And he told me this, and I was kind of like, and he didn't say that, but I felt like, why didn't I do anything about it?
Like he was blaming you somehow?
Maybe. He wasn't, but I felt that way.
Were you blaming you?
Yes. And also feeling guilty when I asked him if he liked it. And
what did he do when you asked him if he
I was
liked
angry. What?
What did he do when you asked him if he liked it?
What did he do?
Yes.
He said, of course he didn't like it. And he just, I don't remember exact words, but
How was he
he was
acting?
crying. And I told him, I believed him. And I did believe him.
Why did you believe him? You didn't believe him at first.
Rephrase the question.
Did you believe him at first?
Not really. I wasn't sure. I just didn't. It was just shocking. That was just my response.
What made you believe him?
Just the way he was talking about it. Just his tears and, it was obvious that it was true. And I just didn't feel my brother was going to, there was no reason to lie. Clearly he was coming to me, wanted me to do something about it. And it was true, because, my dad never denied it when I talked to him about it. So, I knew it was true.
So after you got through telling him you didn't believe him, asking why he didn't fight back and everything like that, then did you talk to him differently about it?
Yes, when he started crying, that was very hard for me, and so I sat down with him and told him to relax and let's talk. And I was very shaky myself, just from the idea that my dad was still doing this, and basically trying to think about what we could do.
Did he want you to do something, or did he just want to tell you?
Overall.
I got the sense he wanted me to do something. That's why he was telling me for the first time.